Welcome back to the Tim and Steve Show. I'm Tim Beard.
Steve Morris.
Chief Wilmot.
Look at that. Right on cue.
Yeah,
he
baby.
just knows. We got video today.
Yeah, I heard you didn't have it yesterday.
Yeah, and I noticed about, 5 minutes left of the show? We're about wrapping it up, and I always record it here even though I don't use the audio, just because then it gives us a timer, you know. And I know you like to see it, so we're recording.
Yeah.
And every so often I look up and just make sure the little red light's on. I did that yesterday. And I was like, oh.
I don't hardly ever look at the camera when we're doing the show.
I just always occasionally look just to make sure.
Did you have a guest on?
No.
It was just the two of you?
Yeah. Yesterday was our 45th show. But on a positive note, it was the first time we've messed up. Well, I've messed up like that. I can't throw you under the bus for that, Steve. It's not your fault.
What were we talking about?
All kinds of
We
stuff.
had a whole range of topics yesterday.
Politics?
Yeah, some politics stuff, some local stuff. I mean, it's the kind of normal stuff we talk about, but I had some extra memes yesterday that I don't, and of course, people didn't get to see them. So what I did is I just took the audio and I put our sponsors on the thing and the date and just sent it.
Traditional podcast.
Yeah, run it. And we least had one listener because she emailed us over we were talking about Toll School and how kind of feel like the town got bamboozled when they closed that school. And
how do you feel like they got bamboozled?
Well, so they sold it to the town as, and this is before I was as heavily into local stuff as I am now, but we got to close it because it'll save us money and it's way outdated. So we'd have to bring things up to code and all that. However, a lot of the stuff is grandfathered in. So I feel like the rec center might have passed if it wasn't for toll, because a lot of people in their heads like, we have Toll School, why don't we use Toll School for a rec center? The problem is the school owns Toll School, not the town. And it is the same town, it is the same taxpayer money, but it is a separate entity. And so I feel like that kind of soured some people in town, because it kind of saw like we have to close this, and then suddenly the SAU moved in there, and then the preschool moved in there, and I'm like, wait, I thought you couldn't have like kids and stuff in here. And so she sent me the story, so I want to look into that so we can talk a little bit about her, because you didn't know nothing about this before you moved here. I think it was in 16. But
it closed in 16, huh?
Yeah, I think 16 was the last class to come out of there.
That was our age.
Yeah, because it was our daughters. Yep, the last.
Well, Alicia had said something about we were the last ones to go through there.
Right. Which, I mean, I get it, like code things and things aren't quite the code and all that, but I don't know. I feel like if we at least stayed in there, we would have been grandfathered on some stuff, so maybe we could have changed some things. But I mean, we've since done like new windows there. We've done a lot of money put into that school, which is fine. I mean, it's also used to be Richards High School, or excuse me, Toll High School.
Yeah.
So it's historical to us, and I think it's important to us as a town. But it would just been nice. I think it potentially could have had more we could have done with it than we can now, but.
Rent out some office space in there.
Yeah, now it's just like office space, and preschool was in there last year, I think, in the last couple of years or something.
Does it? I mean, I've only been in there since being here as the chief. I've only been in there to see the superintendent. I've never been in there for any other reason. Does the space work, generally speaking? I mean, there's
a lot of space.
Seems weird. Like when I would ever go and meet with Dr. Minahan, it was always like
you're in a classroom.
I'm sitting in a classroom meeting with one guy.
Up there?
Yeah. So it feels a little weird. It doesn't feel like
a business space.
Yeah.
I mean, it saved us money, I guess, because then we weren't renting the SAU building. However,
where was that?
That was on what's that little like side cut street to go down to like the bank parking lot?
Oh, Depot.
Is it Depot Street? Is it Depot Street?
Yeah.
Right there on the right, it was in there for. Well, as long as I can remember, it was in there. And I think at some point it might even went to the white building at the school, didn't it, or something? I might be completely wrong on that, but I know they were there at Depot Street, and then they moved them there. Which makes sense, I guess, but they sold it as, we won't have to heat this building and everything, even though they're like, wait a minute, your gym's still here, because the kids still use the gym, because it's the only one we have that's legal size. So, I don't know. I think
that confounds me.
Yeah.
Why we have a gym that's not legal size in the high school.
Yeah, I don't.
Isn't that odd?
That's very weird.
Well, it's just like
who would approve that?
Yeah.
I don't.
Well,
I don't get it.
Well, we're short a foot, but yeah, whatever.
Right.
Send it.
And it's so small that even like when the girls play, boys play middle school basketball there, when you sit, you're like part of the game almost. Like it's close.
Really?
Yeah, and like Lemster, same way. Lydia played down there this past winter because they said, well, you can come play here. You're kicked out of school up here because you won't wear a mask. But there, you're like same thing. Like it's tight. Like I'm like, why don't you guys, especially the high school, why didn't you make it bigger? Like why? Maybe they were thinking it's cheaper because in the end we have Toll School and it's got a beautiful gym and I don't know, but it doesn't make sense, does it? Like,
That's weird.
let's spend the extra little bit and have it proper size.
Right.
So, yeah. So that was some of what we talked about, and then it was nice. One of our listeners sent us the article, so because I was talking about it and I can't remember all the details. Like, remember my dad talking about it than like I remember stuff he had said about it. So I was like, so it'd be good. We can like get more of the information because it's been a while. So
Yeah, it's interesting.
it is interesting.
Got to come up with some way to be creative with money the way that
Right.
everything's going on right now. And I'm a firm, my personal opinion is that we need to raise income because not just because of the hard work that they do, but also and because we're below everybody else. They work hard.
Oh, you're talking
They're
about
involved. They're like
salaries.
teachers
Yeah.
and for salaries, and you got to find that money from somewhere because we just, the town, all of us can't just keep handing out more and more taxes. We got to find a balance. So that's why we started talking about it. Was well, what's going on there? There's a lot of empty space.
Yeah.
And today I actually got to see a little bit more of it this morning. So I saw
Really?
the clothing closet, which I think we're gonna. I say we, but I think Donna, the new superintendent's gonna clean that up, make it a lot more presentable. Or that's on her list of quick fixes to make it more easily accessible to the town. Because there's a lot of clothes in there. It's just all in bins.
Yeah.
So that after the first person goes through there, everything's
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
Have you ever been up to Richard School and to the gym up there, up in the attic?
No.
that's
All right. So before
Old
you're
school.
done, like being chief here, you have to go there and check that out because it is awesome. Like it's probably, I'd say it's bigger than this room. It's a good size.
Oh
room.
yeah,
It's good size.
It's good size.
The problem is they can't use it because there's only like one
egress.
way up. There's no like egress things, but literally it's an old gym with a stage. Like it's awesome.
You walk up there and you feel like you're in the 1940s or whatever.
Seriously?
Like,
Yeah,
they're
it's
just waiting for like some
awesome.
guys to pose awkwardly for a photo. There might, it's just it harkens back. Is a word of the
I wouldn't go up there at nighttime personally, but because that bad boy's probably haunted. But you have to check it out.
By
It
said
is
basketball players, I just
Yes,
mentioned, but
exactly.
I thought I saw.
yes.
So I've heard a pretty crazy rumor. I've heard that underneath Main Street there's a series of tunnels, and there's some that go from like where it's the parking lot now. The county owns it by Gitter Cut, and it comes across the street and goes into McCrillis and Eldridge. That's one, and I think one goes out towards the Opera House, maybe. And like you can still see evidence of like where the entrance to that was, like in the insurance building. Very, very old, abandoned, right? But to me, very interesting. I've heard a rumor that underneath the basement of the Opera House, so it goes that there are stage coaches underneath there, like buried underneath the floor.
Wow.
And like
Wow.
you can hear that it's hollow under there. Whether that's true or not true, I don't know. But it's urban myth.
I think we go in there, Hunter would be a little mad. We start tearing up the floor.
Well, what do you do if you find a coach? Imagine that if you found a wagon underneath there, like a covered wagon.
That'd
That'd be cool.
awesome.
You'd have to build a glass enclosure and put it on display for the whole town.
Now let's play this out, right? So the Harringtons, which is right across the street,
Yep.
used to service the Masons, because the Mason Lodge, which is now the dance studio, is upstairs from there on the third floor. So the Masons build the tunnels. They stage the coaches or the wagons underneath the Opera House for God knows what. I mean, the Opera House was built in 1880-ish, something like that, right? So we're post-revolution, we're post-Civil War. I mean, why are we staging coaches? Just let's just play this out, like hypothetically, like why would you be doing that in the late 19th century?
You run from somebody.
Who? Or is it just the whole, always prepared? An ounce of preparation is worth a pound of cure. Almost like I said that once before we came on air.
I don't know. That's odd and interesting to me.
So this is something else. Time's ticking here. Today's the 7th. You're here until 22nd. We have until then to figure out this story.
Yeah. If you do it on the
tools.
21st, maybe I can issue a pardon to you or something, right?
There you go.
My last day in office, I'll just issue a bunch of prospective pardons.
Well, we need your badge to get in the building. We'll bring the heavy labor and the tools.
So you've known about this for a while, or are you just finding this out?
No, I've known about it for about 6 weeks, 4 weeks.
Have you asked your dad? Because he had the interesting story about JFK not coming.
Yeah, no, that came from my mom, but same household.
Apologize.
Yeah, no apologies needed. That's true, and that letter is at the library.
This could be true.
No.
But do you really? I mean, so the concern is
I can
vet that?
go into some serious conspiracy theories about why the Masons would have tunnels under there. They're up to no good.
I want this
Allegedly.
to be so true now. Like, I would be crushed if this isn't true.
Yeah, but I just don't want
I've watched like 10 different.
I've sort of held this close to the chest because I don't want some rogue excavator to go down there and start digging.
My machine's not big enough, so that rules us out.
Dude, people have tunneled their way out of jail. I think if you want to find a wagon, you can find a way.
I don't want to find it that much.
Well, if it's a series of tunnels, there might be other openings, right?
So I know
because that's not very far to go. Just right there within the thing. I would suspect that if it's real tunnels for anything nefarious, that it would be longer to give you more of a chance to get out in front of whatever you're running from.
Right. True.
I mean, listen. There's a tunnel between the State House and what's that other one in the back we went to?
The LOB. Legislative Office Building.
Yeah. That was awesome. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Like,
I was just there yesterday.
That's old. Yeah, and that's old.
I mean, yeah. So I mean, it might be nothing nefarious at all. It could just be to keep from getting wet or out in the snow.
So I will tell you this. Remember when the state did the construction for the drainage and stuff this past spring? When they got to the common, they found a vault underneath there that was just abandoned and just hollow, and they determined that it was I'm not going to have the right word because I'm not, by no means am I any sort of construction related expert, but an aquifer or something like that, or
like an aqueduct.
Yeah, they had water in it so that for firefighting operations, like way back in the day.
That's cool.
And there's one on the north end of the.
So why don't we get articles about this kind of stuff? Like, see, that would be something interesting.
You could write a book now.
Well, it would be damn near fiction. I don't know if it hasn't been sourced.
We got to figure this out.
This is now fourth hand reporting I'm giving you. It's fourth hand now.
Basically, there's a ditch that they came across that was lined with brick.
I have heard that beneath in the basement of the Opera House, there are places where it appears hollow beneath, and it has been rumored that way back when that thing was built, that somebody stored wagons under there.
We've been doing this for a long.
It would make sense to me because you got all those big houses where all the big wigs used to live, right down the whole strip there.
But why would you put wagons under the concrete or under the brick or whatever? What's the purpose of that?
I don't know. They'll leave ships underneath if they're filling in and building on the coastline. They'll just bury the ships there. Maybe they.
That seems intentional, though, that they would have left those wagons there. Look, we're pretending now that this story is real.
So they left wagons with no horses that we know of, right? There's no horse bones.
Well, we don't know. I mean, the wagons, they could be full of bones. I mean, who knows? You know,
I mean, there's reports of. I mean, you can go watch it on Discovery Channel or on YouTube of tunnels wide enough from thousands of years ago to where, like, me and you could walk through there and go from like Ukraine all the way up to almost
Siberia
and to the UK, even under the water there, allegedly. Like, they have some.
You see what's going on in the UK yesterday?
Yeah, everybody's quitting.
they want him to go.
Pretty obvious. I told you about that, right?
I'm still caught up on the fact that you two could walk and I wouldn't have to duck.
Well, I don't know if you'd want to be going to Siberia in a tank top like that, Bob.
I'm the Siberia thing.
You'd be cool.
Well, I'm still downtown Newport.
No, the temperature in those tunnels, I think, is always at like 68 degrees or something like that. 65.
All year? Because it's closer to the core?
Yeah, because it's underground, so it's below the freeze line. It's almost like that might be 50s, I don't know.
Listen, let's get out of the UK and out of Siberia.
Well, before we get out of the UK, let's talk about Parliament for a second. That's a pretty... It's interesting if you watch that, right? Because we're all sort of more familiar with, you know, our own form of government here, but like it's kind of interesting to watch them get all riotous inside the House of Commons.
I got some British blood in me because I have a dry sense of humor, so I like it whenever they're sarcastic and and they're bitter.
And it's been rich with it the last few days.
My kind of humor and / communication style.
All right, so you want to go back to wagons?
Yeah, just how do we take it from here?
I don't know. I'm on my way out.
I wonder if it's part of
exactly.
I mean, there's tunnel
you got nothing to
systems
lose.
under North America that go all over the place. I mean, we had obviously the Underground Railroad, but there's still
so it could have been
tunnels.
it could have be related to that too.
Yeah.
To some
well,
degree.
when you had said something, but then I forgot the Opera House was built in the 1880s.
Is there like a door
Yeah.
in McCrillis and Eldridge that's just like in the basement?
I don't know. I've never been in the basement. This is all part of the rumor.
There's some investigative reporting right here.
I'm gonna have to call Dave McCrillis up and be like, "Hey, just want to know what's going on." Like,
I don't think you're gonna find like, you know, a door or, you know, I don't think you're gonna find any like hard evidence that like, oh yeah, here's the tunnel. You know,
probably behind, like, a
walk
false
into
wall.
it and here's all the money for you. You know, like the treasure, national treasure. You know,
this is like Oak Island Part 2.
It is.
We gotta reach out to these people.
Oak Island to find 2 horse buggies to see what's up.
Yeah.
Those would be worth good money right now.
Yeah, they're probably in good shape too, being away from the elements.
well, I don't know, dude. You got to think like if they're exposed in any way to termites or
if there's oxygen down there, they're done. But probably wouldn't find much.
Yeah, you'd still
iron maybe.
Yeah, the iron. You don't think that they would still be in any sort of?
Well, I mean, if they're 140 years old, and
140. Yeah, 140.
That's kinda
Assuming they were
old.
built when they were buried.
yeah, or maybe a little bit older than that, right?
Yeah.
145.
Yeah, I mean,
I would imagine it would matter. I think how much oxygen's getting to it. If there's no oxygen down there, that's probably still in decent shape. Right? It's just like you pull up stuff.
I have absolutely pulled the cord here on this one.
Next thing we need is a warrant.
Can we get a warrant, Chief?
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
it's call favoring.
probable cause that a crime has been committed and evidence of
But
that
you
crime.
see stories about that all the time. People tear down a wall in their basement that goes into a tunnel. There's a guy in Turkey that did that. I watched I mean, it could be all made up and fake because I watched it probably on YouTube or BitChute or something. But
I think that's what the draw is to these like movies like National Treasure and other things. It's like, you know, what did our forefathers do like 200 years ago, and you're gonna find like the treasure, the national treasure or whatever. Like,
We've had so many conversations with you, and this is the best thing you've ever mentioned ever to me, from me personally. Like,
really,
this is just awesome. I love this kind of stuff, though.
Yeah.
Like I love the movie National Treasure, and like
yeah, me too.
Like that's just awesome. So now we have to go find a tunnel. There's got to be a way to figure that
There's
out.
got to be a way to figure it out. There's got to be some
Yeah,
record
those
of it.
sonar things.
If you're hearing stories about it, somebody's had to have documented something at some point.
The story I heard was from somebody whose older relative swore that he saw them when he was a kid.
I can believe that.
And so that's 1, 2, 3. This is now third hand from me.
We just took it public.
Well, that's how the guys, like, right? The whole Oak Island thing started because some kids found something or saw something. So,
Yeah. The whole. Have you watched Oak Island and stuff? There's supposedly a curse, like 7 people have to die before the treasure will reveal itself, and 6 have already died. And these people have spent millions and millions and doing all this stuff. And
Is it true?
they found some stuff, but here's the other catch. The Canadian government gets anything they find. So what's the value in that besides...
Why does the Canadian government get it?
Some thing that's...
Where's Oak Island?
It's
Obviously,
off
it's in
Nova-
Canada.
Yeah, it's off in Nova Scotia. So there's just an island that's pretty small. It's like 26 lots. They own most of it at this point. But so they've dig down like 180 feet with a drill. They've hit in wood that's like, been saw marked in, like not saw marked, but like axe marked or whatever. And supposedly that's where that Ark of the Covenant ended up. One of those rumors, right? But they found like a Spanish, coin there. They found all these things. And they do occasionally find things, but they never find enough to make me really be like, okay.
Where are you getting this information? Is there a show?
Yeah. It's on History Channel. History
Somebody
Channel.
walked by, threw out
Yeah.
the balloon or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's been on for like 5 or 6 years now. So every season, it's like, what are they going to find now? And they occasionally find
Dangle
cool
that
things.
carrot out.
Yeah, yeah.
My mom and
It's-
dad watch
it's-
Oak Island too.
It's a carrot.
It's like that stupid show where they make a motorcycle or they make a bus and they're like, it's got to be done by lunchtime, and you're like, it doesn't have brakes. It's a safety issue. Can we push it out to 3:00? Like, who cares? Come on.
1 week to do this car from this pile of rust right there.
Yeah. Or what happens, right? Come on. Yeah, I know we're making good TV here, but jeez.
Yeah, I was watching this guy, like, I don't know where he was, in Thailand or the Philippines, was walking and pretends like he finds something like an old Nintendo handheld thing. And so I wasted 9 minutes of my life watching this guy allegedly refurbish this thing. And, so you see what it looks like when he picks it up. And I'm like, there's no way that's real. I kept watching it. I'm like, nah, he had to buy all these extra parts. And that was probably like a year ago I watched that. And the other night, some guy's like, I'm going to debunk all these rehab programs. And he actually picked that one. And everything that I had said when I was watching it, he had said. So I was like, oh, all right, I still have some discernment. I can still spot,
Crap.
Yeah.
That's what my issue is with some of these shows, like with, let's just say for example, the Oak Island thing, right? If you're not finding anything, you're still trying to make money and you're still trying to get viewers. Right. So you've got to create suspense, and and you can't just have suspense. You have to also have like discovery to some degree. So it's like, oh, we found this Spanish coin. Well, did you? Or like, is that like you trying to make money? Is that like, so that's the suspicious cop side of me, right? Like
seriously, I've watched quite a few episodes of it, and it's one of those things where you just honestly, as a viewer, get frustrated because you're like, listen, there's not an effing thing on this island, and you get like, you have no vested interest except time into it, and these people literally dump millions into this whole deal, and they'll come in every year with all these plans, and it's like, dude, you've got nothing to show for it.
Yeah, their hook also is that there's all kinds of booby traps because it's done by the Knights Templar.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be like
with all the money from France when they deemed them traitors, or
and they get just enough.
Whichever one it was.
Each season usually it's like just enough to make you wonder, right?
It's like playing golf. You hit one good shot a round, right? And it gets you to come back. So
so it's
everything else is terrible.
It's one of those deals, and I don't know who's funding them and how they're doing it, because it's got to be costing millions. Like during COVID, they were shut down, then they could go there, but they had a quarantine, and then they quarantined, and but then some of them got COVID. I'm like, wait, how did that happen? You guys are on an island by yourselves. Except they're all staying here, but like it's interesting. But you would honestly, if you watch too much of it, you're gonna get frustrated. Be like, there seems to be less mystery with the Sphinx and the pyramids in Egypt than this freaking hole in the ground. Like,
it's a hole in the ground.
So back in like the '60s, some guy started this whole project and like dug down until he calls it the money pit, which I can tell you what the money pit is the money they've dumped into this pit right here in the ground. But they're trying to find whatever's buried.
And that hole is booby trapped.
Yes. So in the 60s, a guy, or 50s, whatever it was, the guy, like, hit it or something, which flooded it with water from the ocean. So it's all underwater now. But they've, like, sent a diver down there before. They've put these big, like, metal things you'll see sometimes, like, on the side of the interstate. Like, they put those down there to keep it from collapse. Like, they've done things over and over and over again.
I think I saw that one where
Yeah.
like there was like a trap that released water because like water shouldn't be that deep or seawater.
And there's a marsh that they drained it, and there was like a cobblestone road through there and stuff. Like, this used to be a shit. Like, so there's some things they catch, but are they going to lead to some huge treasure, or are they just like historical artifacts that are cool?
Yeah, or like somebody settled on this little piece of dirt for like
Yes.
20 years. And yes, you're going to find a
drop some coins.
Yeah, you got to drop some coins, had a burial plot or two, and
But the hole's pretty deep. Like
it's almost like 200 feet or something. And I mean, it's kind of like the Pawn Star show. Like,
it's basically like, what was the show you were just talking about with Nick Cage?
National Treasure.
Yeah, it's basically like National Treasure. Like what I like the way they make it sound like is you're going to end up eventually, if they can get the money pit emptied out, it's going to be like the winding staircase.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
rotten wood.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Fire.
Yeah.
And
you're gonna get to that big
someone's got to go to prison. Then.
treasure room.
Yeah.
It's like
There's
that.
always a secondary exit in the treasure room.
Yes.
It's
Amazing.
the first thing that they do is they make a secondary egress. That's why we know that there's no treasure stored upstairs at Richards.
Exactly. There's only one way in.
One way in, one way out, right?
Exactly.
But it could be a false room.
That's true.
Because you remember when they first went into that room after the rotten staircase, it was a false room.
Isn't it amazing how these people figure these things out? Of course, me and you love it and watch it again and again.
Yeah, I do. I really
'Cause
like that movie.
Are
it's
they
just-
making a third one? I heard they might be making a third one.
I didn't like the second one. I didn't like the interplay between Dr. Chase and Nicolas Cage. I thought it was stupid.
Yeah, it's not as good as the first.
No, it's because they're like bickering at one another. It's like, shut up. Go find more treasure. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, get along. I like the first one. There was
Dr.
a little bit
Chase,
of...
is that the woman?
Yeah, Abigail. Like,
okay.
you know, she's the one that's the George Washington fan, right? Like, oh, there's a little bit of tension in the beginning because he stole the Declaration of Independence, but like, then they kind of come together. Like, that's fine. I like that. Whatever. The tension builds up, and now you have a relationship, and you know he becomes a hero. Like, that's the way movies are supposed to be written. Don't do it in the opposite, right?
See, the dad, so Nicolas Cage's dad
John
in the
Boy.
movie, John Boy. What I like about him is he's actually kind of like that in real life. He's very patriotic, and like that kind of like the role he plays is kind of real in a way.
Is it, or is he just always acting?
No, I think no. He's come out against a lot of things. He's one of the rare people in Hollywood to come out against all the stuff that happens, and it's pretty cool. Maybe he's acting the whole thing up.
You ever watch Ice Road Truckers?
Yeah.
What's the premise? They just got to get from point A to point B, and they got to cross
Before the
ice?
road melts, yeah. And you only have so much time to do it because this is how they get their like goods to these places. That because when the ice melts, then there was just water, I guess, and yeah, it's
Impassable because of the mud.
yeah.
Yeah, but see, like, I like that. It's either like you're not going to tease out like a Spanish coin.
Yeah, you can't tease that out.
You're either going across the drink
Or you're
going
down.
in the drink.
Exactly.
Yeah, right?
It's
Like,
one way or another.
it's
That's how it is.
super like stupid TV because like you don't need to engage your brain at all. You can just sit there and be like, just fill me up with all this garbage, you know?
And most likely, if that truck went through the ice and that person died, they probably wouldn't even put it on TV. So it's like, they probably make it like, oh, you hear the cracking of the ice, and I'm like, really?
Oh, that's like was it Deadliest Catch? People died on that. I don't think they showed them dying
That's
on
true,
TV, but people died doing that.
There's not enough money on earth to get me to do that. That's the one show I would do a lot of things that you could say, listen, Tim, I'll give you $1 billion. All you have to do is go through one season of this. Couldn't do it.
Why?
I get seasick, and couldn't do it. I get seasick bad. Like I can do cruises.
Dude, if you puke, won't you feel better?
No.
Just send it.
No. You can puke, but you still feel like crap.
Ah.
Dude, the water's like, nah.
Yeah, that wouldn't.
Couldn't do
Whatever. That wouldn't bother me.
It. Couldn't do it.
Full send.
I don't think I get motion sickness.
This is like a roller coaster from hell for crabs. It's not that good.
So, but we pay a lot of money for those crabs.
Somebody does.
I mean, they make a lot of money in like a 3 month time span.
They do.
It's
They
only
make
like a 45-day thing, yeah.
yeah, they make
Yeah,
a
not
killing.
even 3 months.
Yeah, they make good money, but
It's a hard life.
Yeah, being a deckhand's.
Being the lowest guy on the ship.
Yeah, the
is
captain's
steep
not
for-
too bad. I
Yeah.
mean, just sitting up there and running the show, but
Imagine being like on the Edmund Fitzgerald. You know, you're like, no, we gotta get this iron ore over to Wisconsin. Shit, a hurricane.
yeah.
Great song though.
And
Familiar?
when you said that, I just started hearing the words in my head and then totally
Ah,
forgot
such-
about the whole story.
Such a
behind
good
it.
song.
Even though the words of the song
Gord-
probably tell you.
Yeah, it does. Tells you everything. Gordon Lightfoot. I saw him in concert in Keene. Guy's a bag of bones. He's probably like 90 years old now.
Is he?
What a songwriter, though. He's awesome. He got up there once, he's singing the song, and he's like, the next song I'm going to play is, hell, I can't remember, but you'll like it. And I mean, he's so old now that, like, he can't play the guitar as well, so he's got a younger guy who plays the guitar for him, but...
Best concert I ever went to ever was Leonard Skinner.
Did I see something that they're playing around here soon?
This was at the Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom, and that dude sings the whole time chewing gum, like effortlessly. Like he just effortlessly.
I think I saw that they're either just played around here or are playing around here
Like
soon.
I haven't been to like a ton of concerts. Like I can't, so I haven't been to like hundreds of concerts. I've only been to a handful, but that was like
I went to a Kid
awesome.
Rock concert. It's
That was
pretty
pretty
good.
cool, yeah. But he just sings
Went to the
these.
Phil Collins "I Can't Dance."
Oh,
concert.
yeah.
Little
Phil
tour
Collins
back
played
in
no-
1993 or
Yeah.
4, whenever that was.
He just played in Boston a couple years ago.
Like 2. Lee Greenwood at the Houston Livestock.
Lee
Show.
Greenwood.
All right, so
God, Lee Greenwood became popular again in 01.
Yeah, and he's popular again now. In
In his
some
what?
circles,
In some
he's
circles.
popular again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In the country patriotic scene?
Yeah, my mom was telling me that he's involved with some. I'm always
Some
suspect of.
podcast with a
Yeah.
couple of rednecks from New Hampshire.
No.
Nope.
No,
Can't
what is
say
it?
that.
Charity.
I
And
think-
I'm always suspect of charities, so.
Doesn't he do a
Yeah,
lot
how
of
much of the
farming?
admin costs
Yeah.
versus how much goes to actual charity?
So ridiculous. But I didn't even look it up, but he teamed up with a fireworks thing, and I looked for it when I went to the Toys R Us, but I didn't see it.
I love Phil Collins, dude.
It was a good concert. I don't think he sang. I think he just stuck with the "I Can't Dance" album. I don't really recall him singing. In
Play the
Air
drums.
Tonight. He did play the drums.
He's a good drummer.
I think I was a senior or junior in high school, so it's hard to remember. Kid Rock, I don't really remember much, except it was just a good show. Like he just puts on a good show.
Another Patriot.
He was. I saw him in 2001 or 2.
Any guy that's like good.
Did you ever have any concerts when you were deployed?
Yeah. Didn't I tell you all the story? How I put together the 50 Cent concert and the USO lady, when she got off the plane, asked who's in charge, and I said,
50
I am.
Cent.
And she said, not anymore. And then when they got mad, when they couldn't leave on time, she said, he's in charge. I didn't tell you that story?
You told me
I think
the story.
I told.
I've
Was it
heard
you?
the
I
story.
thought I told it with.
I thought he told
you and
you
Chief.
too.
You absolutely did not tell me. I didn't know that you had anything to do with 50 Cent.
Yeah, that's on BET. I mean, I don't think you'll see me, but I mean, it was a long work in progress. We had warthogs flying around the perimeter to protect everybody,
Really?
just to be safe.
Those are the most
Balad, Iraq.
badass freaking jets.
GUnit was with him too.
Oh, really?
They got super dehydrated, allegedly. I don't know if I can say that without getting in trouble if anybody ever pulls it up, but yeah, the concert did not last as long as I thought it was going to last because it was probably like 120 degrees out.
Really?
Whenever 50 Cent wears that cross that he breaks apart, it's all full of diamonds. I went and walked across the stage, see if any of the diamonds fell out. It was over with. But I mean, they were GUnit. Well, one of them, Lloyd Banks or whatever the other guy's name is. One of them was really good with his time. Like he spent a lot of time with the soldiers after the concert.
Really?
But 50 Cent and one of the other guys, they went and sat in the trailers that we put up for them.
Huh.
But one of GUnit, I don't know, like I said, it might have been Lloyd Banks, or is he the one that stabbed somebody like a couple of weeks later?
Yeah, but I don't know.
Anyway.
I mean, I'm not too up on my
So 50 Cent
gangster
and
rap.
GUnit came out. That was one of my tasks. I had a lot of, I mean, I did like the Washington Redskins cheerleaders. I was responsible for their itinerary when they came to visit. They were kind
Yeah.
of annoying. you know, because we all look alike over there, and I'm like, hey, I need you to come over here. We got to go to the next thing. She's like, all right, maybe I'll see you there. I was like, no, you're coming with me right now. Get everybody, we're leaving. But you know what I mean? Like, she was trying to be nice. And I'm like, no, you're not listening to me. We're leaving now. Like, I'm in charge.
I'm in charge of you. Yeah. You're getting on that Humvee, and we're going to that location over there.
Anyway, so it was kind of funny. But I was also kind of like, what? I've talked to you like 3 times, lady. I mean, lady, she was probably younger than me back then. But
Anything new and exciting in town?
I was at the State House yesterday.
Yeah, what was that about?
I testified for the deputy county attorney who's is up for nomination to a seat on the bench to be a circuit court judge. So, Justin Hirsch, super good dude, good lawyer, good prosecutor, and a good human being. So, one, two,
I would hope so. If you're
3, 4, 5 people, you know, it's different than what you see on TV for like a Supreme Court justice, obviously. But they, you know, the governor makes his nominations for who he wants to have on the bench, and then they meet with the different executive council members, and then yesterday was his nomination hearing or confirmation hearing, if you will. So he gives an opening address, and then he answers questions from the executive counselors, and then people can speak or send letters, or they can speak for or against him, or send letters for or against him, whatever. And then after it's all over, they take a vote. They don't take a vote for a week, so we won't know for a week. But I think he did pretty well. So
nice. And he's from Claremont?
Well, he's Sullivan County. Yeah.
Okay.
He lives in Goshen, but he practices here in Sullivan County. He's been here for a little over 10 years, almost 11 years now.
This is for the New Hampshire Supreme Court?
No, this is for a circuit court judge. So
Circuit court,
yeah.
okay.
So you know, like Judge Sweegart's our judge here in Newport. Judge Yasinski is the judge in Claremont. So it's yet to be determined where he will land for good. You know, some have suggested that maybe somewhere in the local area. So, but yeah,
Supreme Court.
No,
No,
district court, circuit court. They call it now. Yeah.
no, Tim, it's district. Sorry.
Well, we got 2 courts in town. It's confusing.
Well, we actually have more than that. So you have the circuit court, the probate court, and the superior court.
Shut up, Steve. So he'd be at the one that's in the old bank.
If he was,
Potentially.
if he came to Newport, but
Yes.
he probably won't come to Newport. He
Okay.
may go somewhere else. But yeah,
Gotcha.
but that would be the court if he was in Newport. That he would be at the old bank.
Right.
And they also do circuit court judges also handle probate court, and probate court is on the 4th floor of the superior court building.
Gotcha. Same building, but okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
so
That's interesting.
it is pretty cool.
It is cool. I saw Chief Chase when I was at the fireworks on Monday. I looked at him, I'm like, yeah, no, he's out directing traffic.
Yeah,
Someone's like,
time
oh.
is winding down.
Oh,
for
yeah.
him.
Oh, yeah. And someone was just like, I don't know, congratulating him or something. And he's like, yeah, I don't have much time left. And yeah, it was kind of funny. But he's out directing traffic.
Yeah, not much time at all. Couple weeks, and
Then I'll be your nut to crack.
yeah.
You can direct traffic next year when I'm crossing the road.
Yeah, yep. I think I shared this with you. I went to bed because I'm old. I went to bed at 9:30 or something, and I was just hearing boom, boom, boom.
I mean, it gets dark at like 9:10.
Oh, so maybe it was like 9:15 that I went to bed. So as I'm laying there, I actually got a smile on my face, and I'm like, this is the last year, man. Next year I'm going to be down there, which is scary because I don't stay up late, right? I'm going to be laying on the road like. I don't do nights, man.
Throwing us off.
I do mornings.
Tease me every once in a while to kind of wake me up.
I
do
wish I
mornings.
could do. I'm like the exact opposite. I'm
Oh, really? You're a night guy?
Well, he's got something for you to do on the 4th next year at night.
What time do you wake up, like on a given day?
7:30. I get like 4 hours of sleep a night.
You go to bed at 3 in the morning?
Sometimes. I don't know what it is, but I don't want to go. I don't know what it is. I don't like going and laying in bed, and I need to because I have to wear a mask, and so the minimum is 4 hours, and I barely meet that.
That's
Like last night, I think I had 3 hours and like 33 minutes on my mask.
We already
Like
determined.
I could not fall asleep last night.
Nikki just already determined that if she's going to kill you, it would be poison. So you can go to bed. It's okay. She's not going to like stab you in your sleep or smother you with a pillow. Like,
I got 5 hours and 48 minutes of sleep last night. I fell asleep at 10:30, which is probably a little later than I actually fell asleep, and I woke up at 4:22, which is actually probably later than I got up because I got out of bed at 4:15 this morning.
so how's that thing work? To a watch?
It's to my watch, yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that an iWatch?
No, it's
Okay, so-
it's a Koros, yeah.
I say it looks more heavy duty than an iWatch. I don't know if I want to know.
I used to have a couple of smartwatches, and then I started looking at all the data that was shared with it. One of them was a Huawei, believe it or not, which that's pure China tracking right there.
It's all China.
I had that for about a week. I actually still own it, but
So
8.5 hours of sleep. July 2nd.
that's good though. We need our chief of police getting 8.5 hours of sleep. That way we know you're
Oh,
prepared.
dude, I stand corrected. July 4th, 10:13 was when I fell asleep.
Oh.
So I think it was probably like 9:30 that I was down.
yeah, because you were hearing all the explosions.
Five hours 58 minutes. Woke up at 4:17 in the morning.
And this will tell you if you like wake up like sleep apnea.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
How many
I don't
hours
know.
of deep sleep and stuff.
Oh.
So it's. I don't always wear my watch to bed. It kind of annoys me, and then I get. I don't know. It starts to get in my head. I'm like, I only got 2 hours of deep sleep. I need to be like drinking more tea at night, and I need to be like.
Does it give you a stress score too? Or?
No, I don't have a stress score, but like.
I think that's Garmin. Does Garmin do that? The stress, something like that.
Yeah, it tells me what my lowest heart rate is at night. My average heart rate. So my average heart rate's been higher because my fitness is bad.
Just so we're clear, that's not a conspiracy that they're tracking you. There was a big scandal how they knew where everybody's run routes were in Afghanistan.
So that's Strava because it was on Strava.
Yeah,
I have
exactly.
Strava. That's not a conspiracy. That is a legit app, and you can tell where people are. Like,
Your phone tells you all the time. It always tells me I'll be here. It'll be like, you'll be home in 2 minutes. I'm like,
Zeta said when we were coming through the airport in Montana, even though like I made sure none of us downloaded and agreed to any COVID tracking nonsense, it was like, you have come into close contact with someone in COVID. Like her phone notified her.
yeah, oh yeah, my phone did that too when I traveled the last time. But like, yeah,
Like, I don't remember ever her telling me that she approved of that.
So, like, see, Strava, it, like, tells you, when you ran, and it can tell you with whom and time that you went. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like anybody knowing what I'm doing, where I've been.
we get his map of when he runs. We can dress up as a
my-
bear.
See, exactly. See, you get
My,
Tim.
my map, I went hiking with my wife, Freedom Hike on 4th of July.
How many miles was that?
Almost 5. My dog, Top Arrowhead.
Aw. What kind of dog is it?
He's purebred amazing.
Oh, okay.
It's like a Sheltie or something.
Yeah, he's like,
That's a Chihuahua.
Holly Sheltie mix or something.
he's like Beagle Shepherd.
Looks like he had long hair.
Have you ever been on top of Arrowhead?
I haven't. Andrea's.
Where's Arrowhead?
It's a little ski mountain in Claremont.
No.
It's close to my house. Like, we live on the, sort of on the side of it.
Nice.
That's a nice view.
Yeah, beautiful. Anyway, I should...
Audience, did you like that?
Yeah,
view?
how about that? Yeah, you like that? I'm being...
Sorry, we can't
Look
show you
up
these
Arrowhead.
Yeah.
and
Yes.
Claremont.
If you want the
can see
view,
it.
you have to go up there and check it
Yeah.
out.
So anyway,
Yeah. So a couple weeks left. We still gotta get you to come in. We talked about this earlier, not on the show. So we can adjust our schedule for you because I understand you'd be busier. But our audience likes.
yeah, we're
listening
just gonna sort of hit the pause button when I leave, and I'm not gonna make any commitments to anything.
That means we'll never see him again.
That's not true. That's not true. I'm just gonna hit the pause button for a little while because
That's the optimist in me.
yeah, you are.
We'll see him again. He still owes me lunch.
Yeah.
See, that's why I've never pulled that. Like, oh, we're gonna no. I'll wait.
Yeah, Tim's good at that kind of stuff. I don't have that. You're almost like a used car salesman with your directness and putting people on the spot.
So when I first got this job in Newport, like I'd never been a police chief before. I didn't know Newport. I didn't know the PD. I didn't, I knew the town to some degree from passing through it. But like, as the day is getting closer and closer and closer to me getting sworn in and taking this job, you know, to some extent I was like, the hell am I going to be doing? Like, so of course I Google, what does a police chief do?
It's the best way to.
Figure out my job, right?
Brent's like, I already got the other job, so none of this is going to hurt me now.
Yeah. So I was, what is a police? This was a couple years ago, and then okay, so now I know what a police chief does. What should I do when I first become a police chief? And it's interesting because there's actually quite a bit of stuff written about what you should do when you first get hired as a police chief, and almost all of it says, like, don't take on any, like, don't do any new civic, like, engagements. Don't, like, join Rotary, or don't join, these civic groups. Don't just, like, slow your roll when you get in there, because everybody is going to be making demands of you right when you come to the door, because all these people want to, like, meet you, and they want to tell you what their interests are and how you can serve them, and you got to really be careful to, like, not spread yourself too thin, because you can do it very, very quickly. I was super fortunate because on my second day we hit COVID. And so it was like, but I don't suspect that in 2 weeks we're going to have another COVID, so I'm going to have to really, like, figure this out as I go,
Well, if anyone from Claremont's watching, don't invite Chief to any luncheons for about the first 30, 60 days. Give him some time to adjust.
We claim him first.
Yeah,
he's like the new puppy. We're like, no, he's ours.
It's not personal. It's just
Steve,
that
I didn't, and I want to make this perfectly clear to our listeners. Never did I say I was going to turn down food.
Oh.
Civic engagements, I said that you have to be slow to accept. But food.
Piece of cake.
Invite him to lunch, but don't invite him to your meetings.
No meetings.
I say that because in the military, usually it's lunch with a meeting involved.
Isn't it like when you first take a command or when you first go to a new command, isn't it a dinner usually?
Yeah, they do all kinds of different things. It depends on probably the organization, the branch. Like when I took command, so there was a change of command ceremony, then I bought everybody that came by like lunch of some kind with a cake, and then after
you
that,
bought the cake for your own command.
Yeah, it's expensive. Like I lost a lot of money being a battalion commander.
You never bought me a cake before.
Like like anything that you do.
No response. You hear that?
You pay for what? I haven't bought you a cake.
Yeah.
My wife made you a chicken wrap. Not.
We're talking about Steve Morris.
Ago.
Yeah, it hasn't even made its way to his stomach. You know what I mean?
We're talking about Steve, not Nikki.
I got you a gift card for your birthday too.
I got you a gift card for your birthday.
Yeah, you did.
Oh my God! Do we need to fade out here? I mean, is this gonna like?
And we'll like refade in. We're all
Cue
eating
up a
cake.
kiss. Cue up a big kiss.
We're all eating cake.
We're all eating cake and we're all happy again.
No, you two are eating cake, and I'm sitting over here disgusted, watching you feed each other cake. Is what this is.
So now we're feeding each other.
This is what it's
It
building
did
up
not
to
go
be.
that far.
No, but
I'm lighting a unity candle or something. Anyway, what's up?
But you do like so. Then there's all kinds of like you said in the military. It's not necessarily civic, but there are civic. There's all kinds of things where everybody
Has their own interest.
They want to brief you and tell you everything that they do for you and what they expect out of you to do for them, and yeah, it's overwhelming. It's probably the
and
first
what's your
90
basic
days at least.
responsibility?
Basic responsibility is
win wars, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what we're going to focus on here.
No, not lately. And anybody like, well, I take that back. Right before the election in 2016, we were focused. We were like, it was about training to fight again. And
Oh, really?
it was all about making sure readiness was up. These days, what you see on the news, I don't know how they're ready for anything. Allegedly, according to what I see.
Semper paratus, my friend. Semper paratus.
They know each other's pronoun. All is good in the world.
I'm so glad I'm not in the military.
That's true.
I was talking to a young man who works for me, who's in the National Guard, and he was talking about basic combat training, which I used to think was just basic training or boot camp, but whatever. And he was talking about his experience at basic combat training, and I'm like,
Did he have like 3 weeks of pure sitting in a classroom being told what a criminal he was and
no, like he didn't get into the details of it like that, but it was more like it's just not what you'd think. You know, when you think of boot camp or when you think of basic training, you think of like pushing you to your very limit and like, you know, being exhausted and hungry and tired, you know, like physically
losing
tired.
10 or 15 pounds, even if you don't.
Yeah,
need to.
exactly.
It's not really that way.
Dude, when I went to officer candidate school for the Marine Corps, I like that was without a doubt like the hardest period of training in my life, and it was because it was Quantico, Virginia in the summer, so it's hot. I was tired all the time, just not getting any sleep whatsoever. It was intense in terms of like you're always having someone scream at you. The expectations are high. Physical fitness was high, but I think that's what makes a good like warrior at the end of the day, right?
Well, it stretches you to your limit because
Yeah.
you got to like almost going back to your class that you gave us a couple of weeks ago to the town. You know, you got to be prepared, and what better way to be prepared than to constantly be stressed out and on alert,
Right.
And then you start building, I don't know, coping mechanisms,
Yeah.
resilience, whatever you want to call it, to where when you're in those stressful situations, it doesn't bother you as much. Like, you know, if you look
Yeah.
back at those OCS days, even though, like you said, it's the hardest thing, now you're like, I could probably handle that.
Yeah, and
knowing what you know now.
Yeah,
you know
and
what
I was having this conversation with somebody yesterday. We were talking about like, you know, I think there are days that we all have where you wake up and you're like, I just want to kind of have an easy day, right? Like I want to watch The Sopranos and eat popcorn and, you know, whatever, or don't really want to push it. And there are some people, and whatever, if this is them, they aren't those people who are going to push the envelope. But I feel like life is not fulfilling if you're not pushing yourself, and it doesn't necessarily have to be physically pushing yourself, but like mentally pushing yourself and like trying things that are different or novel, or trying to do hard things, overcoming, you know, challenges and stuff like that. If you're not doing that, I feel like you're going to go in the other direction. It's like the law of entropy.
Yeah. According to my wife, I do have some atrophy in my legs.
Well,
You know, so I don't do PT every day, but yeah.
well, you probably do have some atrophy, but that's probably
Yeah.
because of all the raps that she's making you, right?
Exactly. When she's home. But anyway,
Don't you think, like, if you're not pushing forward, you're
Yeah,
going to be
you-
sliding backwards?
yeah, so I don't, like, you know, when I said I was up till like 4 o'clock last night, I wasn't just sitting there watching TV, eating chocolate-covered cherries. You know what I mean? I was reading all kinds of different things, trying to make myself smarter or figure out if I really know what I'm thinking or talking about.
Yeah,
Like,
well-
I'm always trying to, for me, it's more of like now I'm trying to learn as much as I can, because I feel like there's so much out there and there's so many different points of view that you can't just read one thing and think that that's
Right.
the be-all, end-all. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's always a second and third opinion on anything.
As I get older, too, and particularly in my own job, I'm becoming less and less comfortable with people asking me questions about whatever and saying, like, I don't really know. Like, hey, you know, let's talk about, you know, what happened in Highland Park, Illinois, or let's talk about, you know, the 6 pillars of, you know, 21st century law enforcement. I'm like, what's that? Like, I'd rather spend some time and actually read about it.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you drop names, and I'm like, I know that name, but I don't want to be like, yeah, I know it. You're like, well, how do you know it? It's my best friend.
But not even just like having to like demonstrate like how, you know, how intelligent you are by knowing everything. But it's also like, I think it looks foolish if somebody were to ask me a question about like either what's going on here in town or what's going on in society with
Right.
law enforcement or something, and I'm like,
Right. So you're a lot of your reading is like you have a lot of extracurricular reading just on law enforcement.
yeah, yes,
Right? Like,
yeah,
so,
I
'cause
do.
If you got to watch, you got to say, all right, this is hitting the news. Somebody might ask me about this, or have we thought about this from our perspective here? I mean,
Yeah, different types of like,
that's
you know,
expertise, knowledge that we
wellness
expect
initiatives,
you as,
right.
as town members, right?
But as a school board member, right?
Right, so I need to know all the bills that are up and everything else, and sometimes
grants
I get
come out yesterday
I get a
and-
number wrong or something, and then I'm like, yeah, and y'all see how I am when I do make a mistake. I can't let it go.
perseverate. ruminate, brood.
He's a thesaurus too. He spent some of his time reading the thesaurus.
So,
Anyway, but yeah, so did we finish? Did we come to a conclusion on that? Like, yeah, you need to be an expert, right? Like in your
I think so. Subject matter.
You should be a
experts, right?
subject matter expert. Like that's
Yeah.
my expectation of you.
Right.
Just like if we were in the military and you asked me an HR question, not many people are going to be able to answer the question better than me. There'll be
But
a
I
couple,
also
but
I put that
probably
with a
not.
caveat though. If I ask you a question about HR in the military, and you don't know, I don't want you to just fake it.
No, no,
I
I'll
prefer
say-
you to say, "Dude, great question, man. Like I've been doing this for a long time, and I don't know the answer to that. Like let's figure that out together, or I will figure that out and come back to you."
Yeah, that's the office. That should be the officer way of doing it in the military. It was never just lie, but like, hang on a second, sir. Like a lot of times, especially if you can't say it confidently, because deep down you're like, did I really read it like that? Or it was 2 years ago when I read it. It's like, sir, let me get back to you, and then you just get.
How much does culture affect like your unit? So the Army is the Army is the Army, right? But like I would assume that the Army in St. Louis is going to be different than the Army in Virginia.
Oh yeah. So like, my favorite, First Cav. I think I've told y'all this. Like, we ride everything in vehicles, right? It's mechanized, so everybody basically has a vehicle.
Yeah.
25th ID, light infantry, you walk and run everywhere. Big cultural difference. You thought it was you, so
Yeah. I got two phones going. There's a 66% chance that if the phone rings on the table, it's going to be mine, and it was Tim.
way to go,
It was
Tim.
dispatch wondering where Chief is.
I don't think so.
No, so there are cultural
Yeah.
differences. Like when I got to, so I was even at Fort Polk, it was plus or minus 5 minutes. Like timeliness wasn't always that big of a deal, even when you were briefing the general. Like it was just the culture there when I was there was like,
Chill, bro.
like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
everybody.
Let's have some gumbo.
So it's just different from there to Hood to, you go to Fort Leonard Wood. I was there, and we were the only like real unit that could deploy. Everybody else were training
Yeah,
units.
we're talking about that.
Yeah, so like we walk around like we're tough stuff because we're actually doing real things while they're out, coddling kids these days. Kind of
Yeah,
going
sure.
going back to it's not as intense, and there's still some intensity. Don't get me wrong, but it's not 24 hours a day being told how worthless you are. They still got to break you down, but they're developing different ways maybe to do that.
You're so brave, Steve. Thank you for showing up to basic training today.
Basically.
Thank you for getting out of bed this morning, Steve. Your bed looks okay, but we want to lift you up.
Right.
What would be the most outside of West Point? Where in the military would you say like Fort Bragg, Fort Benning? Like where is it going to be like probably the strictest
The strictest?
that you experienced, of course?
So I was never stationed at Bragg or Campbell, but I did when I was assigned to the MEPS in Tennessee. This was before, not when I was a commander, but I was a test control officer. I did all the ASVAB for large area of Tennessee and Kentucky. Anyway, so I had to go in process at Fort Campbell. And I remember I was like, what are you, a drill specialist? Like, who are you talking to there, Bubba? Because I was a first lieutenant or a captain, and this kid's talking to me like I was some garbage because I was 5 minutes early to the meeting and they'd already closed and locked the doors, but like their standard was like, you got to be there 10. And I'm like, well, I
Really?
just drove from 2.5 hours away, man. So
Open the door
open
now.
the door.
Yeah, open the
like,
door.
I'm not really.
Or you're going to
in
be in the
I'm not
half-right
in this
face.
whole Fort Campbell thing.
Yeah.
I work for like a Navy. I
Yeah.
got a Navy boss. Like I'm
Yeah.
not into this whole thing. But,
You will be in the front leaning rest until you puke.
yeah, I would say Bragg or Campbell.
Yeah.
That's because they all have like the same.
Hold me
haircuts.
82nd Airborne. Rah, rah,
Yeah,
rah.
yeah, so it's probably Bragg. I don't know, Campbell. Between those two, and then all those guys go to 25th ID, right? So they like rotate between those three, and then a guy like me coming from a mechanized unit that runs 3 miles, jogs 3 miles. It's a different cultural shift.
Right.
So it varies. So you got to be ready to adjust. Just like when you go to Claremont, you're going to have a totally different, vibe in the
Yep.
building until you.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, it's similar
Well,
in
you're
the
the chief,
respect.
so you'll be able to influence.
I
it.
set the tone, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So everybody will be looking to see how you act.
child. Yeah, like
Carry yourself.
40 going on 14.
Arrested Development for all of us. Tim.
I'm just excited that he's going to come back in August as long as we have food.
Is that what you heard from all
That's
that?
what I heard out of all
I didn't
that.
even hear that.
Yeah, I said I won't turn down food. I won't turn down civic engagements, but I won't turn down food. And I certainly won't turn down sweet food. So pastries, cookies.
Cake.
He didn't seem interested in cake when I
Yeah, I
went to the
know.
cake.
So,
He
but
said
I
he'd
got
watch that
cake
too.
on the mind because they set my swearing-in date for the 29th, and they're going to serve cake at it. So I've already got sort of cake on the mind, so I don't want any more cake.
Have you invited us to that?
You're invited. 29th at 1 o'clock.
The whole town of Claremont.
City Hall. City, Bob.
City. Wilmot. City.
Oh, sorry.
You
I'm
better
used to the
be.
town of Newport.
Yeah.
City
No,
of
is it a big
Claremont.
thing, though?
It's shaping up to be that way. Yeah. Yeah. My wife is throwing a little soiree the following day too. If you'd like to come to that, you're more than welcome.
That's more my thing. That's an actual invite to something. Anybody can go to the swearing-in thing.
You going to show up as Tim Beard, the professional, or Tank Top Tim?
Tank top Tim with a tutu. That's a sweet alliteration, FYI. Tank top Tim and a tutu.
You wore the 222. The 222. Yeah. All right.
Y'all are invited.
I feel like it was a little empty invitation, but I appreciate it, Chief.
Well, I was actually going to do it off air, but whatever.
Don't wreck this. He's going to change his mind now.
No. He gets it.
Yeah, I was going to do it off air, but I just did it on air for you, bud. You know.
I feel like, I'm saying that from the used car salesman, like, inviting us to your thing. Like,
Yeah,
that's...
you're busting my chops bad.
No,
like on camera.
I'm not busting his, because he put you on the spot. That's why I'm like, that's not really fair to you, because...
No, but I was going to.
I appreciate it.
I was going to extend the invitation. when
If
we
I
got off.
honestly didn't think we would be invited, I certainly wouldn't embarrass myself on air and be like, "Oh, hey, Chief, can we go?" And he'd be like,
Yeah.
So
I
actually,
think that
just,
Yeah, about that. I got to go get my hair done.
all right, Chief. Well, thank
Until
you.
next time.
Until next time.
So maybe next week I can bring a guest.
Yes,
Is that okay with y'all? Have you ever had 4 people on?
No, but
we can make it work now that you told me. Yes, if you just showed up with a guest, it'd be a little bit harder. But now that you told me, yes, absolutely, we can make that work.
Okay.
Guests are
Maybe.
cool. Yeah,
See if I can make it work.
sweet.
Sounds good.
Steve's gonna bring cake. I mean,
We're going to tease it out to our viewers, though. We're not going to tell them who it's going to be.
That's
Mystery guest with
Mystery
Chief.
guest. It's going to be like one of those airheads you used to eat. You know, that was white and it came in the silver. It's a mystery, and you had to eat it before you could figure out what it
Last
was.
week.
Yeah.
I guess the only
I had one of those.
mystery I don't
Those are
want to
so
have to wait a week, for is we won't end up in handcuffs, will we?
The night is young, my friend.
Oh man!
The night is young.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Chief, and
No problem.
we'll
Thanks
see you
for
next
having
week.
me.